So, because if I was biracial, why wouldn't you just say, oh, that was a white woman? Why would you say she's a black woman?
Black, yeah.
It was hard for me because I hate the fact I was too light-skinned.
What was that like growing up? Because obviously, as a child, you see yourself very differently.
Where do I place myself? Who am I as a woman? Am I a black woman? Am I a mixed-race woman? How could you even pursue anything with me and then even love me if you don't love yourself? But I do feel like men like that do have a bit of a slave mentality.
Hello, my name is Nissy Tee and welcome back to BEBB. On the show today, I have a very special guest. And yes, I know, I always say that our guests are very, very special. But this person is particularly special because you might have seen them alongside myself on Bkchat Ldn, the show that has been taking the internet by storm. Miss Ariete Santos.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you so much. It's so, do you know what? It's nice to sit down with you and in a different environment.
Exactly.
Obviously, this is quite different from the normal Bkchat scenery. But how are you feeling? How's everything going?
Everything's going well. I can't complain. 2017 has been good to me. So, hey, praise God.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
So obviously, a lot of people just see you on Bkchat and they think, Bkchat, that is it. But you're actually a mother of a beautiful, beautiful little girl, by the way.
Yeah,
I've seen her before. She's absolutely gorgeous. Of a beautiful little girl. And you are an actor or actress as well. So tell us a little bit more about that.
I'm a mummy and an actor. And yeah, I've been doing acting for a long time, since I was 12 years old, actually.
Oh, wow.
But I used to do it more as a hobby. And I think when I turned 22 is when I felt, you know what, actually I can do this as a profession. And I started pursuing it then. I did want to go and do drama in uni, but my parents are Angolan.
Oh.
So, you know, I grew up the typical African household, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah.
One of those are like acting,
Yes,
drama,
no.
doctor. Is that another word for doctor or lawyer?
Yeah, so I couldn't. So I ended up doing criminology actually instead.
Oh, wow, okay.
In uni, which was great. It was interesting as well. But I think after I graduated, I told my parents, you know what, here's a degree. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's something that I fell back on anyways.
Yeah.
However, you know, after I finished uni, I was like, yeah, and then I went to drama school.
Right.
And yeah, then my journey just basically started from there.
Yeah.
And I'm just still pursuing, still doing it, still loving it. And basically.
So as mentioned, I've said that you are a mother, you are an actor, you've been doing this for a very, very long time. You are amazing, by the way. You are absolutely amazing. I do need to come and catch one of those shows.
Listen,
so now I've said it on camera, so I need to like stick to my word now at this point. I definitely will be there just to show my love and show support. But the main reason as to why I've got you here today is actually to talk about this.
Yes.
To talk about the fact that you are mixed race.
Yeah.
And now you might be sitting there thinking, okay, why on earth would Ariete Santos come on here to talk about the fact that you are mixed race? But just to kind of give you a bit of a definition of what mixed race is. So colloquially, it's said to refer to British citizens, because that's what people call it here, mixed race in the UK. British citizens or residents whose parents are of two or more different races or ethnic backgrounds. Obviously, the definitions vary depending on where you are in the world. Different types of people have different definitions of what mixed race is. But it's also said that mixed race people are the fastest growing ethnic group in the UK. And it's even estimated that by 2020, Britain's largest ethnic minority will be of mixed race origin.
Oh, wow.
What do you think of that?
Very interesting. I learned something new today.
I'm glad. That's why we're here, Be educated, be bold. We want you to learn something new. But of course, the main reason why we particularly wanted to talk about that is because a lot of people do feel as though, okay, I'm mixed race, this is my skin colour, so what? But we had a conversation before where you had obviously mentioned that there were a little bit more complex. It was more complex than just that. So just kind of a question that I would ask you right now. What is being mixed race to you? What would you define being mixed race as?
That is so hard to sort of define because we all I would see myself as someone of mixed heritage.
Wait, I haven't even asked you. Excuse me.
Yeah.
What is your background?
So I would always say that for me, and that's what I think we actually touched it one time very briefly, and it's it's how you identify yourself, and it's about your identity. And I think for me, growing up was really, really hard because I'm actually not biracial.
Okay.
So my mother is mixed and my father is black.
Right. So
Yeah.
what's your mother mixed? So what's the mix with
My
your
mum
mum?
is a cocktail as well.
Oh,
That's what I'm
gosh, a
saying.
melting pot of
If
all
you
different-
actually, loads of Angolans, a lot of the mixed heritage comes from our great grandparents.
Okay.
Because we was colonized by the Portuguese people, back in the early 1920s or whatever it was.
Okay.
So Portuguese, Brazilian men went to Africa, so the gorgeous
women there.
black African woman went a bit crazy, and that's basically literally how it started. So my
Right.
great grandfather is Portuguese.
Right.
So I'm Caucasian, basically.
Yeah.
So my mom's granddad is white.
Okay.
So her mother is, so my mom's mom is biracial, so she's actually half Caucasian and half
Right.
black. And then my mom's father, he's black. I would say because I hate when people are like, oh, because he's like Indian. He's got some sort of Indian.
So in terms
heritage.
of how he looks, like on the outward appearance, he looks like Indian. Almost.
Yeah, I mean, he, brown skin like you,
Yeah.
and they got he looks, like very from Bangladesh, Sri
Okay.
Lanka. It's crazy. I think Africa in general, there's a lot of mixture.
Right.
A lot of mixture at the moment, especially in Angola. But anyway, so my mom's dad, but again, black. So my mom's mixed, so she's Caucasian, if that makes any sense.
Right.
Yeah. I'm telling you, this topic's gonna be confusing.
Yeah.
So stay with me.
Because even me, I'm not gonna lie, I'm trying to work out, this and this, and then I'm getting a bit lost.
So
I can't even lie.
because there's Caucasian, there's a bit of Indian there somewhere as
Right.
well. So I do come from literally a cocktail.
Right.
And for me, weirdly enough, growing up, I found that more hard to deal with, which is a bit weird, because I felt
What did you find hard to deal with?
more because I always identify myself as a black African woman.
Okay.
However, when you grow up in society, a lot of the times you identify yourself as how society makes you feel or how you basically look. Generally people look at me and will see a mixed race woman.
Right.
But my family are predominantly black, basically.
Okay.
I don't have any, not that I know of, because unfortunately, back in those days, a lot of Caucasian men did used to get with black women, but never used to take up the responsibility.
Yeah.
There's loads of racism and interracial relationships wasn't really accepted back in those days.
Right.
So basically, it was the same case with my mum's mum. Her father was white, but she never took his name, and he never sort of basically raised her. So in that sense, that part of my heritage, I don't know about. I really have no idea where his, that side of the family are from. So that was lost within, my roots, I suppose. But I acknowledge that it's there, it's part of my roots. So in a way, I grew up predominantly in, predominantly really everything in a black household. My father is black, my mother family is black and mixed, if that makes any sense, because in Angola we still use the term mulatto.
Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah, we still use it. So in Angola I am mulatta.
Yeah.
So we still use those terms.
And that is mixed. Yeah.
Of mixed race. So in Angola, weirdly enough, a mulatto is somewhat of mixed heritage, but in the UK. Usually, because it's interesting how the definition that you use, but usually here in the UK, when you say mixed race, people usually do refer to biracial people. And I could never identify myself as being of mixed race because I never had any other parent other than black.
Right.
Or
And
mixed. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
That's when I say black, I mean that's not like Caucasian.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But just to kind of ask you about that, actually. So what was it like for you growing up, obviously knowing that, because obviously naturally when you see you, your skin tone is a bit lighter. When I first met you, I can't lie to you, I just remember thinking to myself, like, I wonder where she's from. You're just curious and you're always wondering like, oh, like where, where's the person from? What's their background? But what was that like growing up? Because obviously as a child, you see yourself very differently to maybe how you are as an adult. What was it like growing up?
100%. It was hard for me because I hate the fact I was too light skinned because my mom's the same. Yeah, my mom's the same complexion as me, which is yeah, my mum's the same complexion as me. She's very light skinned as well. But even my siblings, my brothers all, it's just weird. They're light skinned as well, but they're all like a bit, a shade darker than me. Or, that's stupid.
A bit more brown.
You're still yellow, please, but a little bit more tinted, I suppose. Yeah. But anyways, so I found it hard because it's almost I felt like I didn't fit anywhere.
Okay.
Growing up in school, I was too light skinned to say I was black.
Wow.
So,
and was that because other students made you feel like that?
Yeah, well, yeah, children, young people, and so forth. So, let's say, for example, I met someone like, yeah, oh, where are you from? Or what race are you? I'd be like, I'm black. Like, no, you're too light skinned to be black. Or, oh, your hair, your hair, how could you be black and your hair is, the way it is, or white? Do you understand? So, I used to be like, all right, then I felt like I couldn't identify myself as being black, even though I was raised by a black family, and I was born in a black family. Yeah. However, my friends that knew me used to think, oh, Aria, you're a sellout.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I used to get that a lot.
Yeah, and there's a term that you tend to hear a lot when it comes to biracial or mixed race people. And why do they think that you were a sellout?
Because I never used to say that, because to them, I was a black woman. Okay. Because they knew, like, obviously they knew my family, they knew where my because to them, because of my mixed heritage, they don't see me as someone who is of mixed race. So to them, mixed race is someone who is biracial. I mean, half Caucasian, half white. Where my mixed heritage comes from my great grandparents. They're like, girl, you black. Do you understand? You black. You best own it. You're black. But then for me, when I used to say, I'm black, people were like, no, you're too light skinned to be black, or blah blah blah. And even at home, and when I haven't, obviously family don't know what young people go through, family members, adults, and so forth. So I already had that identity, almost like going through an identity crisis, or where do I fit in, blah blah blah. And
what, did you feel that at home as well?
I felt that at home afterwards as well with my own family members, only because I was basically, I'm the lightest skin. I was in my family, and a lot of them used to be like, well, it was a banter, and they'd be like, oh, the white girl in the family. So they'd be like, oh, that's just a white girl in the family. That's a white girl in the family. And so that used to really bother me growing up. When I was young, obviously now you don't care, innit?
Yeah, you'd be like, whatever.
But when you're a child, and obviously, especially when you're in your early teens, like I'll say 12, 13, going towards 13, that is really the time where you're trying to where you're finding yourself, and so sometimes hearing that, even from my own family members, like, I need to go and get some sun, get some vitamin D, and blah, blah, blah. But they're, punchers, they were just joking around. They're not thinking in their minds, oh, yeah, she's going through conflicted identity issues and blah, blah, blah. So for me, it was really hard where do I place myself? Who am I as a woman? Am I a black woman? Am I a mixed race woman? And then even my family would be like, oh, they used to call me, I could never actually say, oh yeah, I'm a white woman or whatever, no. But I just, do you know what I mean? It was just a conflicting feeling inside because identity is so important, especially growing up as a young woman. So that's one of the things that was really, really hard for me as a young person.
Yeah. And at what age did you feel like you had to, because obviously you mentioned you felt as though you were kind of too light to be one side, but then maybe not too dark to also be the other side. At what age did you start seeing yourself as a mixed race person? Because obviously growing up a lot of the time, we are, as children, we are blind. We don't really see colour in that way. Obviously, I'm not someone that advocates that I don't see colour, especially when you're a grown adult. But that's a story for another day. But when you're young, you don't see that. But how old were you when you actually started to see and look at other people and be like, wow, where do I fit in? And how old would you say when you decided that we're going to go into that later actually, in terms of what you would identify yourself as now. But how old were you, when you first started seeing that?
It's interesting. And you know what I'll tell you, it's interesting. I was born in Angola. I came here when I was 5, 6, going on 6. So, Right.
So you were in an environment where it was predominantly black people?
Yes. So the mulattoes in Angola are the minority.
Right.
Yeah. So I came over here, obviously, as a young child and so forth. And funny enough, the first time I actually saw a full white person was when I came to England.
Oh, wow.
So, because because for me, my heritage goes back to my great-grandparents. And it was just, you know, for me, sort of, and it's totally different culture as well, different language. Even though I was very, very young, for me, it was different. And, and I know this is going to sound really stupid, but when I was a child back in Angola, when I was a kid, in Angola, there's a lot of albinos.
Okay.
Yeah. And to me, like, that was like the closest to white that I saw.
Oh, wow.
In terms,
okay.
yeah, I know, but it's facts. It's actually, it's real. Yeah. So anyways, so I don't want to divert too far away from the question that you asked me.
Yeah.
But it's a hard one because I had an experience as an adult recently, I'll say about 2 years ago. And, you know, when I was talking about how that society see you.
Yeah.
And how different races actually see you.
Right.
And I had, you know, an incident where I had someone unfortunately vandalize my car, and I ended up calling the police, and you know, it was a bit of a stupid scene basically. And the witness and the police, who obviously had to write down the statement,
of course,
they wrote down the statement, and they obviously had to put a description. I didn't read the papers obviously till I was actually presented the papers when I had to go to court and blah blah blah. But anyways, when I was given the papers and I saw the description, they didn't put me down. Both the policemen and the witness were both white men, Caucasian men. They put me down as a black woman.
They put you down as fully black.
Fully black. So, you know, like the ethnicity group. So they didn't put me as mixed. So, because in my mind, I've always thought that that's how people would initially see me and view me as.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it was very interesting to see that. Obviously, I'm not talking for the whole of the Caucasian, you know, side, but it was interesting to see how, you know, British Caucasian men viewed me. Yeah. So they saw me as a black woman.
And that's quite interesting because a lot of the time you hear about this kind of like one drop rule, and that was something that came about in the past. I don't have all the facts right now. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but there was basically this thing whereby as long as you even have a tiny percentage, as in your great-grandparents, or I think it was your grandparents, had even the tiniest bit of black in them, that is enough for you to be either segregated or stopped from doing certain things, or I can't remember the exact facts right now, but there was literally like a one-drop rule. And that kind of sounds like the same kind of thing here, this kind of idea that even if there's just, because you're light, you know, you're light-skinned, so you might assume, you're mixed race, but for somebody writing down an official statement to see as a black woman, and how was that for you? How did that make you feel?
To be honest with you, I wasn't offended, only because I identify myself as well as a black woman.
Right.
But it was very interesting because I always thought society in general, whether you was black, white, Asian, you see me as mixed race woman.
Mixed race.
So it was interesting to see that another race, and I don't want to talk in general, but obviously, you know, through that experience with the police, for example, they saw me automatically as a black woman. And it was
do you think that could be, obviously it's never a negative thing, because I'm a black woman, I'm fully black, I'm very proud to be black, but obviously with you know, what we've seen in the past and things like racism and all that kind of stuff, do you think that had a bit of a negative standing in the sense of like
100%.
Yes, because this is the perception that we have of black people, therefore we would drop you in that box as well?
100%. Because if I was biracial, for example, and the fact that, you know, you wouldn't think, it's almost like you said, you got whatever, if you got 10% or 50% black, you're black.
That's it.
Do you understand? And that's it. And I'm like, hold on a minute. You know, there's another side of me. There's, you know what I mean? So why wouldn't you say white woman? So, because if I was biracial, why wouldn't you just say, oh, that was a white woman? Why would you say she's a black woman?
She's black, yeah.
Do you understand? And it's a very interesting concept. It's just crazy that people still today, 2017, still have that mentality. The system, I'm not trying to generalize anything,
of course not,
but
not
you know, just going through my own personal experience, because this was only like a year and a half ago.
Right.
So we're talking about 2016 or 2015. So so that experience just made me feel, wow, you know, nothing's how much has changed,
right.
really. We're still having that same conversation. So for me it was very, very interesting. But sorry, go back to the question. So ask me the question again, because I think I
No worries,
the question.
I just asked, but you didn't answer it though,
Okay,
because
cool.
I basically asked you, do you think that it was because of a negative perception as to why? Because obviously you got into an incident that involved the police, and it was more kind of a negative perception of kind of putting you in this group, because there has been negative perceptions of black people. That's just always been the fact historically. So do you think it was that? And you said basically, and saying that is a shame that even till now people assume that, and obviously we can't speak for the person, we can't say that's exactly what he thought, but in this kind of circumstance it almost seems like that anyway.
Exactly. So yeah, that's basically, and for me, even like till today, like because it's only actually recent, funny enough, it's only been a couple of years, when you fill in the
Like your
ethnicity form. I remember there never used to be mixed other.
Okay.
Then that box never really actually existed. Before it used to be, was it black, African and white?
Yeah.
Afro or
black
Caribbean and white, or Asian
yeah.
and white. Which is this, it was always white, it's never Asian and black. But anyways, it's interesting. Yeah. But anyways,
acting like there would not be any like
Asian
between...
and black, exactly.
Yeah.
So that was interesting as well. But for me, when I had to, I'm like, I can't. Where do I fit? Because no, I'm not half white and half African, black African. I'm not, because my mother's not white. She's mixed herself. So where do I fit in here?
And how did that make you feel, like especially growing up? Because I'm sure going through like school, whatever, you have to fill out these little applications. And obviously for me it was quite easy. I'm fully Congolese. Both my parents are from Congo. That's where I'm from. So easy, black African, wonderful, moving on.
But that's what I had to always put, was black African.
Oh,
do you know what I mean? That's what I always had. Because
did you not feel that you were maybe then choosing a side then?
To a certain extent, because I never, which is unfortunate to be honest with you, got to know that part of my heritage, that Portuguese part, I think he's got some Brazilian in him somehow, but I never actually, really got to find out that part of my roots, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So for me, it was easier for me to identify myself with my African roots, because that's where I was born, grew up. Predominantly all my family were from there. So it's just easier for me. And in Angola, funny enough, there is a bit of race. There's racism there, but it's between. I'm gonna go back into like it's between obviously mulattoes and black people, like fully black people.
Okay.
And the reason, I think, times of colonization, slavery, let's go back to even slavery and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's that whole Western, fitting into the whole Western ideal.
And standards.
So, there's that whole thing, mulattoes think they're nice, or they think they're better than...
Right, and this is actually a question that I wanted to ask you, because obviously growing up, I don't know what it's like for you, but obviously I grew up in London as well. And growing up in London, there was always this perception that mixed race girls were better. They were obviously the nicer girls, the most desirable, the ones that had the nice hair, and the ones that all the boys seemed to give the attention to. How was it like in school for you? Were you was Ariete Santos one of the popular girls that everyone wanted? What was it?
You're making me feel a bit shy. Like,
if you were, like, be honest.
Funny enough, I went to all girls school.
So did I. I went to an all girls school as well, but still, you see the way that people interact outside of your school environment with boys in other schools and that sort of thing. Yeah. And mixed race was the thing. Mixed race was like, when you're growing up and you're light skinned and you're mixed race, that's a tick. That's a double tick even. So did you ever experience anything like that?
100%. I mean, I had guys even go, "Oh yeah, I like your lighties on my
lighties." This was always the thing, lighties.
Yeah. So that's my type and blah blah blah. And don't get me wrong, I do feel like everyone has a specific type that they go for.
Right.
But now as a grown, and sometimes we're talking about young. This happens now as a grown-ass woman.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? So it's not just back in the day; it's now.
Mm.
And for me, obviously, as a woman now, it's actually sad for me to actually sometimes see a black man or, you know, a black brother actually say these things to me, because actually, because in their mind, I think they think that they're making me feel more like, oh yes, you know,
Like I'm
I only deal with the
superior,
ladies, and
yeah, of
I'm only into ladies. From the time you're telling me I'm only into ladies, for me, that puts me off. And the reason why I say that is because, especially if you're a black man, because for me, I can't see a man that, how could you, do you know what I mean? Like, how could you even pursue anything with me and then even love me if you don't love yourself? Because I genuinely believe that, for me, like, you know, the woman that you was born out of should be like, and the woman that you was raised, that should be that,
the woman that raised you, that
do you understand? That
nurtured
should
you.
be your the first sign of beauty. Do you understand? Your mother. Do you understand? That's that woman. That's that queen. Because, you know, the whole saying, you know, oh gosh, it just literally just ran out my head in terms of how a man treats his mother. You can see that how
You can see how he treats you by how he treats his mother. Right.
So, you know, that's your reflection. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So how could you possibly even love me, do you understand, if you don't even love yourself? That doesn't make any sense to me. It's almost, and I know this is going to sound a bit deep, but I do feel like men like that do have a bit of a slave mentality. Only, there's a difference, like I said, preferences is preferences. I, for example, I can say, yeah, I prefer like tall, 6'5", dark skin. You know, everyone has their preferences, but from the time you only say, I only.
And that you wouldn't even cast an eye.
I wouldn't look at dark skinned girls. I only like ladies. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Then that's when it becomes a problem, because at the end of the day, I am of mixed heritage, and black is part of my heritage, predominantly part of my heritage. So if you think I'm beautiful, hey, guess where it comes from? Do you understand what I'm saying to you? It doesn't just come from my 20% Caucasian side. Predominantly all me, do you understand, comes from black African heritage, you understand?
But I guess it's just what they feel they see.
Exactly.
And what is in the eye.
It's, again, we're growing up
because
with,
you could have come out either way. You could have come out very, very dark, and no one would ever know that you had a mixed heritage.
My sister's your complexion, Anyway, sorry, I'm blabbing on.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine. It's really, really interesting, everything that you've said. But so obviously you said you still have some of these things going on till this day. But what would you say being a mixed race woman means to you now in this day and age?
I think mixed race is I think it's beautiful, because mixed race is not the typical biracial. And that's the reason why, you know, I'm really happy actually discussing this topic with you, because stereotypically everyone that hears the word mixed race would automatically assume biracial. And even for me, like I said, when I was growing up, even saying, you know, when I used to say, oh, I'm mixed race, people automatically will think, well, your mum ain't white, your dad ain't white, or you understand, either or. And no, you can be mixed heritage. You can be like your whole heritage could come. You can be Asian, white. I'm the whole world. I'm Earth.
You got all of it. A little bit of all of it.
I got a little bit of all, and it's beautiful, and you know, it's all like a nice little cocktail, basically. And it's really embracing that and being proud of who you are, and really loving. You know, I love my, even though you know, growing up, I'd hate the fact that I was light skinned. You know, because my whole family was darker than me.
So you actually wanted to fit in with them. You just wanted to fit in with your family.
Because I was around that, so it was just like, oh, why am I so fair skinned? And you know, why am I so light skinned? Do you know what I mean? Because I used to see, it was so, I know this sounds so stupid, I used to see biracial young people, and they were like, well, I've got more black in her, why is she more darker than me? I used to literally, I used to be jealous, because I used to be like, hold on, my mum and my dad, and I'm this fair, but yeah, you're half white and you're dark eye. You know, remember Mel B from the Spice Girls?
Yes. Scary Spice.
Scary Spice. And I'm like, why is she? Because as a child, I used to be like, do you know what I mean? But again, because I was trying to identify myself, I was trying to fit in. I was trying to be like everyone else, or either fit in my family or fit in somewhere. And it's almost, I couldn't fit in anywhere. And I think back in the day, we used to see mixed race as just biracial, but being of mixed race is basically
you can be a bit of everything.
It's about mixed. I am of mixed heritage. Do you understand? So I've got Portuguese in me, I've got Brazilian in me, I've got some sort of Asian, I don't know where it come from, but somewhere in me, and I've got black, African, Angolan, in me as well. And I'm proud, you know, to say that now.
And exactly, you've kind of started touching upon that anyway, and being proud and understanding that it's okay to be a mixture of so many different things. What does it matter to anybody else? As long as you know who you are and you know that, you know, your morals and what you stand for, and that's the most important thing. But I guess if there was just one piece of advice that you could give to somebody, even if it was just a young person that might be watching this and is maybe in that moment of kind of limbo or kind of conflict, not really knowing where do I fit in, what family members am I closer to, or, you know, where do I go? What would you say to them?
Stop listening to society. How do you feel inside? Because your identity that's why it's called identity. It's your own.
It's your own.
You know? So if you identify yourself as, you know, as a black woman or as a mixed race woman, but it is very important as well to sort of embrace your heritage. And unfortunately for some people, they don't know the other side, you know, especially if you're biracial. I mean, you might only be raised by your black side of the family, you might only be raised by your white side of the family. So it's important to even research and, you know, just because I feel knowledge of self is so important. Because when you have knowledge of self, you know where you've come from. And if you know where you come from, you know where you're going. You know what I mean? It's very, very important. So find, who are you? Where did you know, if you, let's say, for example, you was raised, you know, by just your white side, and find out if you're African. Let's say, for example, maybe your father's not in the picture and he's from Congo somewhere, and find out about Congolese people, find out the culture, because that's part of you. Embrace that, do your research, be proud of that, because that is part of you. And don't look so much upon how other people are going to view you, because that was my problem. My problem's like, I can't say I'm mixed race because obviously my friends would say I'm a sellout. Well, I can't say I'm black because obviously I'm too light skinned to be black. And I was more worried about what other people thought instead of what I thought and how I identify myself and who I was. Click your fingers. Yes, I'm black, of mixed heritage, or I'm mixed heritage. Yes, I'm half this, I'm half this. You own that, because that's what makes you. That's what makes you beautiful. You know what I mean? So it's very important to, like I said, self-knowledge, be proud. If you've got dark skin, love it. If you've got light skin, love it. You know what I mean? And so and I love me. I really do love me. I'm happy woman. I'm a proud mummy. And even my daughter, for example, she's actually called half Caribbean. So she's half. So she, bless her,
she's a mix of just
an
amalgamation of a little bit of everything.
She's called Bayesian, called Jamaican, and she's half Angolan, and anyway, so that's her business. No, but you know, so it's really about.
But I guess that's everything that you said. That's something that you will go on and teach her. I'm sure of it. Knowing you, I'm sure that's exactly what you'll go on to teach her. You know, because I'm sure she will have her questions. She will have her moments of a bit of confusion as well. But I'm sure you'll instill in her all that great stuff. But listen, I could sit and speak to you forever. But thank you so much for coming on the show, for sharing honestly your story and just sharing everything. And I'm glad especially that you're in a place now where you're just like, yes, girl, I love me, I'm beautiful, I love it. So honestly, I just wish you all the best with just everything in general. But thank you so much to Ariete for coming on today. Of course, some of the terms that we use might not necessarily apply to you. You might not see yourself as mixed race, biracial, whatever it is. But as Ariete mentioned today, it's all about how you define yourself, not what the world is saying. So once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.
Bye.